Well, hey everybody. I'm out here at the creek behind my house and I'm fishing today. Fishing is one of these things that we can do even in the middle of a pandemic as long as we're keeping our distance from one another. Whenever I think about fishing, I think about what are called fish stories. Have you ever heard of a fish story? It's like when somebody tells you, oh, I was out fishing this one time and I caught a fish that was this big. It's a story that's exaggerated beyond probably what really happened in order to make you really kind of interested in the story. I even have a fish story of my own. When I was a little kid, I was about 8 years old, about the same age as my daughter Anna is now. And my family, we were out fishing. We were standing on a dock, my older brother, me, my younger brother was there, but he's not too involved in this story, and my dad. And my older brother, he had caught a fish. It was super duper tiny. It was this tiny little perch. And he needed my dad's help to get it off the hook for whatever reason. And so my dad, he was busy right at that moment, but he was going to come over really quick. And so while my brother waited for my dad to get there, he dangled the perch on the line still, off the edge of the dock. The perch was right around at the level of the water. And my brother and I, we stood there and we watched as his perch dangled right above the water. And who could have imagined it but this big fish? We think it probably was a northern. It came swimming right up to the surface of the water and kind of leaped out of the water just a little bit, and it gobbled that perch right off my brother's hook. I think it might have snapped the line even, and off it went. And my brother and I, we had never seen something like this. We were so amazed. If you had told me that story then, or even if you had told it to me now, and I hadn't actually seen it happen, I would never have believed it. That's my fish story. Well, when we read in the Bible, we read about Jesus and his disciples. And one thing that we notice pretty quickly is that Jesus' disciples were fishermen. Now, they didn't fish with a rod and a reel like we would today. Instead, they would have a boat and they would cast a net off the side of the boat. And they would catch all the fish they could in those nets, and then they would take the nets off to the market, or the fish I should say, off to the market where they would sell them, and that's how they made their living. They were fishermen, and so many of the Bible stories that we read involve fish and fishing and boats and things like that. Now, we're not able to gather together for Vacation Bible School this year, and I'm really sad that that's the case, but I thought maybe what we could do is a little VBS at home this year. Or if not at home, maybe on a boat or at the lake. We'll look at these stories from the Bible that involve fish and fishing, and we'll see really quickly that it's not fish or fishing that's the point. Instead, it's what these stories tell us about Jesus and what he means for you. We'll learn about how Jesus calls you to be his own, about how Jesus provides for you day by day, about how Jesus saves you, and even about how Jesus rose from the dead for you. All this so that you and I could be his own both now and forever. So I'm really glad that you've taken the time to join us for our Fish Stories Vacation Bible School at Home. Let's go fishing.